Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another one of our alumni interviews. I'm here with the one, the only Ethan Whitson, class of what year did you graduate, Ethan?
2018.
2018, just a baby, just getting started. And so what have you been up to since you graduated in 2018, Ethan?
Well, right after I graduated, I was gonna move back home, which is about an hour southwest of here.
Okay.
But somebody named Andrew Hodges decided to offer me an opportunity to do an internship
Against your mother's will.
against my mother's will. Yes, she whenever I told her the details of raising my own money and living with 3 roommates that were still in college, she didn't like the sound of that. But I think as the summer went on, she got more convinced and she just wants what's best for her baby, just fine. So I interned with you guys, and that turned into even more work. We decided to continue on the partnership, and I started a master's degree program at Indiana Wesleyan.
That's right.
And I finished that of May of 2021. That is I basically say higher education. It's a long term. It's like student development and this and that, but basically higher education. And so while I was in the program, I worked with you in the ministry, while also testing the waters of different college administration jobs. I worked in testing. I did career exploration and consulting, and all this stuff was at IUPUI. And then last May, when I got my degree, I chose to part ways with you, just to explore other opportunities. And nothing really happened over the summer. I was striking out quite a few times, but ended up landing on my feet at a private high school, actually, in Whitestown, Indiana. They're called Traders Point, not to be confused with the church. They are right by the church, but the school just functions on the church property. The church doesn't actually own the school, but I worked there in their athletic department. It's been kind of really cool because yes, they're younger students than I was used to and expecting, but kind of get to chat with them and kind of prepare them for college almost. I mean, I work in the athletic department, but I help with coaching, so I get to see students every day, all the time.
That's awesome.
And it's cool too, because you don't have to wait for the right perfect moment for you share your faith. It's all plastered over their mission and vision and value. So that's where I'm at currently. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, just chugging along with that.
We've got 2 of your best alumni from the school there in CSF now, and Tiffany and Derek.
Yeah, and it's really funny because Derek, I didn't notice at first, but we're coaching together at Traders Point. There's a coaching staff of us, about 5.
Okay.
Between JV and the varsity teams. And so Derek and I see a lot more of each other now than actually we did, I think, in ministry. But it's pretty fun because we're the closest in age of all the coaches. So we chat a lot on the practices, games.
That's great.
It's fun.
Well, that's exciting. Of course, you're married to another one of our CSF alumni, Taylor.
And I am the better part of the Whitson clan.
She's a nurse at St. Vincent. And you guys are expecting soon, right?
We are. I think she just crossed the 25-week line.
Wow.
So,
Getting close.
yeah, 1 minute she was telling me very sweetly and surprisingly, and the next minute we are here in a house and
Right.
preparing for this little one to come, hopefully by the middle of May.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, your baby's gonna come just after the Northam baby, right? Daniel and Malia.
I don't know their due date actually.
Yeah, we'll have, maybe if they're watching this, maybe they can clue us in. I think it's soon though.
As long as he comes healthy, I mean, he could come on my birthday if he wants to, April 30th.
Yeah, you wouldn't like that though. You don't like to share your birthday, so I know you how touchy you are about your birthday. So
Well, there is just so many in the spring in my family. It is honestly ridiculous. There's 2 just next weekend.
yeah.
So it's whatever. I would make an exception for my offspring.
Well, the next question I have is how have you seen your faith in Jesus collide with your work so far? But you've kind of been actively involved in ministry for the last 4 years since you graduated. So it's been pretty cool to see you haven't had a whole lot of limitations. Maybe a little bit when you were at IUPUI in the testing center or whatever, but even there, God gave you a lot of opportunities to share your faith, which has been really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I did have that lull period where when I was applying for jobs, I did think about how faith was going to interact with the colleges. And not that I was necessarily too picky of where I was looking at, but it did kind of think in the back of my mind if some of my credentials came off too faithy for some people,
Yeah.
to the point of frustration on my part of,
Yeah.
I hope these people aren't reading my resume and not giving me a chance because they
Yeah.
aren't a Christian university. And I don't care if they're a Christian university or not. And I hope that they would expect that, but
Yeah.
I would be lying if I didn't say it didn't cross my mind.
Well, we're reaping the benefits in our organization right now because of 2 TPA kids. So it's pretty neat to see that kind of come to fruition. I've heard you talk a little bit about this in the past, but what would you say? Now, you were kind of an anomaly. We just had a Ethan Whitson part 2 that graduated last semester. Luke Randolph, he was only with us for 1 semester as a student. We couldn't keep him as an intern because he's working with CBS Sports now, so couldn't really compete with that. But you got involved your last semester at IUPUI, got in a life group, and then came on as an intern because we didn't want to lose you that quickly. What would you say was the most valuable lesson you learned from being in CSF for that semester and then for the 3 years after that?
Honestly, I think it's that there are younger adults who exist around me that I walk by every single day who do share the same faith as me. I just have to, step up and join them in their fellowship, essentially. It's, I guess, I learned to make an effort to make faith a priority amongst a million other things going on. Because up until that point, I just wanted to do things academically because that's what I felt like I had time for, and what I was paying for, and what gets you jobs and whatnot. And so, it's a standard cliche story, but I went to church on Sunday, and I maybe did some volunteer things here and there, and I thought I was pretty good. Or intermittently between homework, I would do a little bit of reading, but nothing too intensely. And I really didn't do a lot of hanging out with friends that much either. It was just, let me do my academics and move on. But when I got, I wouldn't say dragged, but pretty convinced to go by my now wife,
She's a
bless
good
her soul.
influence on you.
She's an amazing influence on me. Amazing. And so she kind of started this wave of, well, I'm going to go. And I'm like, well, why not? I'm in my final semester. I think I'm going to pass stuff. Let me just go. And because really walking around IUPUI, unless you see somebody in a particular group, you don't know what people's belief systems or values are. And it's scary to take the chance to ask somebody, to try to find those people, because of fear of, what if it's not right online? What if it turns out to be something it's not? And you want to back out. There's just so many things going through my mind. So I just think, long story short, when I finally made the attempt and saw, okay, this group of people goes to this school and they're coming to talk about Jesus, and they're smiling, happy, there's events, there's things to go to and do. How have I been lost? Like, I have time. It's an hour group, hour activity here and there. So it was just a matter of, I think I learned to prioritize it in a way to not necessarily schedule faith, but in a sense, put it on a list of things that need to be done, not just if the time allows. It's like making the time to do it. So really, I think just priorities. And I think that's why my heart was tugged on so much to do the internship, is because we connected pretty well. And there were a bunch of these people that I knew were coming back the next year. And I think God was just saying, give it a chance. I mean, you prioritize this academics and getting a job. Why don't you try to take this little itty bitty internship and then see what happens? So really just prioritization.
Yeah, it's so cool too, because a lot of things that you started during those 3 years are things that we still do, like the weekly basketball night. Blake's continued that, and he's graduating, and Derek is going to take it over next year. And
oh, awesome.
Yeah. I still remember that first life group you came to. You were munching on a giant bag of Chex Mix. You came with your snacks.
Yeah, I still do that.
Told me you were carrying around that all day because that was all you could eat that day or something. I don't know why you were on a Chex Mix fast, but that was funny. And yeah, it's really cool. And since the pandemic, we hadn't been able to get back into Taylor Hall for our nights of worship until recently. In January, we got back in there finally. And I can still remember that one time you had the flu and you still came and you were laying in the back on the ground, still carrying in the sound equipment and everything. It's been really neat to see, every investment any of our student leaders or alumni make. We're just reaping the benefits of that today, which is really great, because there's students involved now that you've never even met, and God willing, that'll be the same thing. But people still talk about the difference that you made. And,
well, I appreciate that. And just a quick disclaimer, I was not infecting people with the flu. I believe it was food poisoning, where I was up all night puking.
It was some bad Mexican. I remember.
Oh man.
Oh, that was. Hey, good on you though. You made it through the day, and another thing that's cool now too is that when you were involved in the ministry and then at working with us, you kept telling me about this younger brother that Taylor had, and I finally got to meet him at your wedding, Tyler, and now he's involved, and recently just agreed to be one of our student leaders for next year.
Awesome.
So it's good. It's really cool. He shows up super early to nights of worship, helps us set up, and it's been really neat to see him get plugged in. Loves the sports and loves hanging out, and it's really great.
Yeah, we're really happy for him. We're glad he stepped up and got involved a little quicker than the rest of us. So
yeah, we had an easy in, really. It's been really fun getting to know him. Kind of my last question kind of is being able to speak to all of our alumni. We've got quite a few on this list that are going to be able to hopefully watch this, and thinking about, since you graduated up till now, and now you guys still attend Connection Point Christian Church, correct?
we do, yeah.
Yeah. So I know that's a big part of what you guys do, but what's some advice you would say, maybe from some of your successes and maybe some of the things from your failures, things that you wish you would have done better, but some advice you would give to some of our alumni that are watching this?
Just general advice, or?
Yeah, like for their relationship with Jesus, relationships with others, how to stay healthy. I know we talk a lot about that with our students, how they can stay healthy physically, spiritually, with their creative life. Those are the kind of 3 areas we really try to focus on. Even today, I was sharing that with a student today, kind of checking in to see how they were doing. And so we still do that today. But what are some of the things that you would share with some of our alumni?
I love your checklist, by the way. Got to check all the boxes for Hodges.
Yeah, it starts over every day.
I think when it comes to successes, first off, I think something that's really important is to always be thankful for them, and don't, ignore them as just a nice happening, I guess, if that even makes sense. I think I've learned, I've had a lot of great things happen to me and a lot of things fall into place. And I would say I was fairly thankful for them, but I think after experiencing almost like a failure last summer, where I thought I was going to get into a position quicker than I did, I started, being down on myself of whether or not I was capable of doing what I just studied. And so I lost track of the thankfulness of being of what I had already. And so I think, as the summer went on, yes, it was tough, but I started just looking around me and almost kind of making a mental checklist of, well, I'm okay here, and I have this and I have that. And it was just a matter of realizing that I was abundantly blessed, just more than some people out there. And so I just realized I needed to be more thankful and just be happy that I'm waking up and happy that I have something to eat, even if it's Chex Mix, and and just realizing that I have a good system of a family that is there for me, and just all these different things. I was like, it's just a job at the end of the day. And of course I want to do something to provide for my family and do something so I'm not some lazy bones sitting around waiting for God to snap his fingers. But I just needed to be thankful, I think, in all the successes, whether they were minor or big, instead of just waiting for more, just waiting for more things that and we're waiting for more things now, even if it's even going to change my attitude. So I think just being thankful and successes, and that includes even, I'll even skip to physical, because physical is a big one for me too, along with spiritual, of just finding those little moments of victory, whether it's getting to the gym or walking outside for a mile. I mean, I literally count any of those as a success in getting a jump start to a habit, or just using your body like other people. Again, I not comparatively of looking down on other people, but some people it's just the cards they were dealt. And so me having a body that can move and walk and run, I want to use that. And
Right.
again, I think it just ties back into thankfulness.
Right.
And praising God just for your situation, and just no matter what happens. And then I think when it comes to my failures, I don't know, I guess the advice on that would be, scale your failure out. Like, I don't know if all failures are on the same line. Some feel bigger than others, but I'd say before overreacting to a failure like I felt like I had last summer, it's like, well, I just got a master's degree. Now what?
Yeah.
Why am I failing at getting an interview? Why am I failing at having an interview and not being offered? Is there really, I mean, my thought process was, is there really that many people better qualified right now? So it just, it was a failing mentality. And but once I think I scaled it back and realized, well, my marriage is in good shape, my family's in good shape, I'm in good shape. Again, I have a lot of things to be thankful for.
Right.
Why am I so worried about these little failures of somebody looking at me on a piece of paper and not wanting to give me a chance, or liking somebody better?
Right.
So I guess that's in regards to just not overthinking such a tiny part of life. Because at the end of the day, people, I think, roll over it, but it's so true of, if all you have is faith in Jesus, then you're good to go. I mean, that's it. Of course, there's other things things you should do with that, or
Right.
can do with that. But I just think at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't want to give me a job, or if I fail at a certain area of a job or life, well, I have my faith in Jesus, I can bounce back from that.
Right. Yeah, I think you're hitting on something that's so important for a lot of our alumni that I talk to, especially the ones that are in between jobs, or they're looking for a different job, or even if they're starting in a job, in an entry position that isn't really where they want to be long term. I think we really have to take a long, hard look at what is success in God's eyes. What does that look like? And even for me, about to turn 40 next month, you look back on your life and you're like, okay, what did I anticipate that I was going to achieve by this point? And what did I think my life was going to be like? And all that really doesn't matter as long as I've stayed faithful to Jesus as much as I can and love my family as much as I can. And you're right, getting that scope, that full scale, let's bring it all the way up to see the big picture instead of focusing so much on your current situation or where our perspective is limited, is just so important. And I think that all of our alumni could probably, even some of our first alumni like Mac and Caitlin, who are in Papua New Guinea doing Bible translation in a third world environment, where it's just very difficult to live there. it's literally day by day for them, to stay focused and stay healthy so that we can do as much as we can for God's glory, and then go to bed and do it again the next day. And it's a privilege to do that, so I think that's a really, really great takeaway. Well, that's about all the questions I had for you. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, and thanks for still coming out to basketball sometimes and showing the young guns how it's done. And it's so funny because one of our freshmen, I was asking him about you and if you still came. He's like, no, what's he look like? I see he's the huge guy, the really tall guy, Oh yeah, I know who that is. What's his name? It's really fun. You've invested all this time. The reason we're doing that weekly basketball night is because you initiated it. And here's this freshman reaping all the benefits, but has no idea who you are. I think that ultimately that's the beauty of what we're leaving behind. Even if they forget about us, we've just created something that's going to bring people closer together and closer to Jesus. And if that happens, then that's fantastic. They don't need to necessarily know who we are for us to.
Yeah, I love having my proud dad moments there of reflecting with Blake, and Blake saying he's looking at me sometimes and he just maybe ask for a suggestion, like, should we run it this way tonight? And I just go, you're the VP. So leave me out of it.
Yeah, we got that new basketball because the old basketball that John Chin, one of our alumni, gave to the ministry when he graduated, it finally stopped holding air. So we had to get a new one. And Blake and I are trying to pick out the new basketball. And it's just so fun. All the things that basketball has seen. It's pretty fun to think about. Luckily, it doesn't.
And the amount of people,
yeah.
I think a lot of people have taken it home at least once or twice too. So it's seen some apartments and some houses.
It's a legacy thing. So, well, hey, thanks for taking the time to chat a little bit. It's been great to catch up. I was just talking to Zach Camp, another one of our alumni today, about you and how you were doing, and it's fun to see our alumni still staying in touch and cheering each other on. So,
hey, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I said, lasting friendships that are based on the right things.
That's right. Okay. Well, hey, man, enjoy the rest of your night and your late wife who's a nurse dinner that's after 8 p.m. It's just normal for you guys. So
yeah, this feels way too normal.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll catch up soon. Thanks a lot.
All right. See ya.
Yeah.